I'm Andre Huey and welcome to the latest edition of the SKN Newsline Newscast. Low vaccination levels amongst teachers and school staff is a serious challenge for health officials as schools reopen soon. More in this report from SK Newsline's Glenn Bart.
In spite of the earlier spread of COVID-19 in some schools, the resulting closure of all schools, as well as a national shutdown to contain the spread of the Lambda variant of COVID-19, it appears that next school year will open with a large number of unvaccinated teachers and school staff. On a recent Leadership Matters program, Permanent Secretary William Hodge of the Ministry of Education appealed to teachers to get vaccinated before the start of the new school year, saying they should take advantage of the Pfizer vaccine when it rolls out. Added to this situation is the fact that some parents are resisting COVID-19 vaccination of their children. After months of vaccine education for teachers, Hodge reports low levels of COVID-19 vaccination amongst teachers and school staff.
We have some statistics, some data from the Ministry of Health, and it is showing that not a significant number of teachers have been vaccinated. In fact, the data that we looked at didn't only show teachers, but it also showed persons who work in schools, persons who work in school meals and other departments, units within the Ministry of Education. So we use this platform again to really encourage our teachers to go out and get vaccinated, especially as we prepare to move back to face-to-face instruction in schools. Now that we have the vaccine, that has added another layer of protection for teachers themselves. And if teachers are serious about their own health, as that quotation said earlier, health is the new wealth, then they have to go out to be vaccinated and to encourage others, as well as to ensure that the children, to encourage the children in their charge when we get to that point to be vaccinated. If parents do not want their children to be vaccinated, as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned, there's nothing we can do. We leave that for the lawmakers, the legal authorities, the competent authorities, the government, to decide what will happen.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce has called on government to do more to increase the level of vaccination against COVID-19 in the public sector. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The St. Kitts Smart Resort and Montreal Farms are among the entities in a partnership with the Ocean Foundation and Grenetics in dealing with the problem of sargassum seaweeds. More in this report. The Ocean Foundation and Grenetics have entered a partnership with the St. Kitts Smart Resort and the Royal Beach Casino to facilitate sargassum removal and insetting in collaboration with Montreal Farms in St. Kitts. A press release from the Ocean Foundation said this project will help minimize impacts on the tourism and hospitality industry while increasing local food security and mitigate climate change by sequestering and storing carbon in agricultural soils. Montreal Farms will utilize this repurposed sargassum for local organic farming. SK Newsline spoke to Mr. Samuel Duggins of Montreal Farms about this partnership.
I had a few ideas and I thought, this would be great to implement. And as such, today, Montreal Farms is actually the leading and the largest hydroponic farm in the Federation. And when the sargassum issue came up, this year in particular, I had already been in discussions just prior with one of the partners, and we were discussing, avenues and options that we could have taken with it. But when it really became an issue, the discussions intensified, and they had a previous operation starting in 2019 where the Ocean Foundation was involved, and the Ocean Foundation then, through discussions, decided to extend that down to in St. Kitts now, and so basically it was an extension of what they were doing in the Dominican Republic.
In St. Kitts and Nevis, less than 10% of the fresh produce consumed on the islands is grown locally, and agriculture accounts for less than 2% of the GDP in the Federation. The foundation says through this project, they aim to change that.
Sargassum by itself is not a bad thing. Sargassum miles out to sea is actually helpful to the environment. That's why it's there. When it hits the shore, however, it becomes problematic. And us trying that option of cleaning it once it hits the shore on one part, and us doing the nearshore harvesting helps. Because when you look at the turtle nesting area, the thickness of sargassum at the shoreline prevents turtles from getting into shore and nesting, right? Fishermen affected. Sea bathers affected. So cleaning that sargassum is obviously a helpful thing for everybody. But we don't just stop there. Because cleaning is just the beginning. What do you do with that, very speak? And I think that is where the genius in our plan comes in. Because as a farmer, you are now turning that problem into an opportunity for greater agricultural output, healthier crops, greater yields. Now St. Kitts, when you look at St. Kitts, by agricultural data, we produce less than 15% of what we consume. 15. Greater yields means that number increases.
According to the release, the initial pilot project yielded remarkable results, helping to prove the concept to other supporters and paving the way for the Ocean Foundation and Grenetics to expand this work throughout the Caribbean. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. When we come back, the impact of COVID-19 on St. Kitts and Nevis explored.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Autoplus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Autoplus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Autoplus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Autoplus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Open Interactive, a full-service creative agency based in St. Kitts and Nevis and serving the Eastern Caribbean. We believe in building content that widens reach, deepens engagement, and ultimately provides lasting solutions. In an era of copy and paste, where anyone can create content, few do it well, and even fewer aim to be exceptional. We do. We combine the best of our creative talents with our expertise in media and technology to elevate brands just like yours. At Open Interactive, we create designs that speak more than 1,000 words, campaigns that impact, and solutions that connect to your core audiences. We always deliver that added distinction, that extra spark to boost your brand. Committed, proven, and creative. We are Open Interactive.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go. Welcome back. Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, looks ahead into the impact of COVID-19 on St. Kitts and Nevis and issues a clear warning. Glenn Bart reports.
There could be dark days ahead for St. Kitts and Nevis. Premier Mark Brantley warned on his On the Mark radio program regarding the impact of COVID-19 on the country. Premier Mark Brantley pleaded with divisions in particular over the past months to vaccinate COVID-19 and its variants amidst hesitancy and misinformation. But on Wednesday, 18th August, the Premier again made an impassioned appeal for divisions to take action as he looks ahead into the pandemic.
The government, ladies and gentlemen, is doing its best. The government is seeking to protect us. There is no conspiracy. There is no effort to attack anybody. We are trying to do the very best we can with the hand that we've been dealt. There's no playbook. There's no manual for COVID-19. Nobody has gone through it before and have been able to tell us how best to go about it. We are using the tools that are available as and when they become available. We are following the science and we're seeking to keep our people safe. For God's sake, I beg of you, go out and protect yourselves. What we're seeing happening and what we anticipate in the days and weeks ahead will mean that there will be some dark days for St. Kitts and Nevis, and more specifically for the island of Nevis, which has thus far done remarkably well in keeping COVID at bay. It should not be a matter to make us haughty. It should not make us arrogant. It should not make us feel that we're better than anyone. I have said and continue to say that it is because of the grace of God, that unmerited and undeserved grace, why we're here today where we are. And we must seek to do the right thing and to be responsible if we are to maintain that safety record that we have.
It is understood that special training is being conducted to enable health officials to implement and deliver the Pfizer vaccine. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
A webinar on intellectual property in sports to be held next week. The Intellectual Property Office of St. Kitts and Nevis, IPO-SKN, is partnering with the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, to host a webinar on the topic Leveraging Intellectual Property in the Sports Arena. So disclosed Jihan Williams, Registrar, IPO-SKN, during the latest edition of the government radio show Working for You this week.
The topic is leveraging intellectual property in the sports arena. So our focus is on issues such as sports and IP, athletes as brand ambassadors, your name and face have value, sports marketing and sponsorship and IP, branding for national athletes and teams, sports tourism and country branding, broadcasting, media rights, and live streaming. So with these issues, we really want to expose the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider region, because it's open to anyone to join free of cost, to the possibilities of the commercial side of sports. Let's not just see sports as a venture where it's physically grueling or it's just for entertainment, but there are different ways in which we can benefit from sports as athletes, as fans, as a country, as sports leaders. So we hope that people will take the opportunity to join our Zoom. The webinar is on Zoom. And if you want the details, the Zoom particulars, you can look on our Facebook page, Intellectual Property Office of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. When we come back, news from across the Caribbean.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Autoplus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Autoplus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Autoplus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Open Interactive, a full-service creative agency based in St. Kitts and Nevis and serving the Eastern Caribbean. We believe in building content that widens reach, deepens engagement, and ultimately provides lasting solutions. In an era of copy and paste, where anyone can create content, few do it well, and even fewer aim to be exceptional. We do. We combine the best of our creative talents with our expertise in media and technology to elevate brands just like yours. At Open Interactive, we create designs that speak more than 1,000 words, campaigns that impact, and solutions that connect to your core audiences. We always deliver that added distinction, that extra spark to boost your brand. Committed, proven, and creative. We are Open Interactive.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go. Cuba's government has introduced tighter controls on the use of social media, banning what it calls false news and anything it says could damage the country's prestige. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bow reports.
These were the largest protests in Cuba in decades. Thousands took to the streets last month to demand food, medicines, and freedom. Young people using the internet managed to organize protests nationwide. But now the government is doing everything possible to prevent them from happening again. A new decree announced this week to control social media will put people like Junior Garcia at risk.
These new laws come to reinforce the prohibitions that already exist and legalize things that were being done outside the legal framework, such as the cuts of the internet service. It is a threat to freedoms and citizens' rights.
What is known as Decree 35 bans the spread of false news or messages and content considered offensive. It also says that those who have attempted to subvert the constitutional order will be considered cyber terrorists. The government says the new decree is an attempt to protect the population and fight the spread of fake news.
En la propia política del desarrollo de Internet,
in Cuba, the internet is defended as a space for debate, exchange, reflection, expression, complaints, and proposals from the population. This model will demand an adequate, respectful, ethical, and truthful use of these communication channels.
2 years ago, Cuba introduced the use of mobile internet. At times of economic difficulties that have been exacerbated by the pandemic and US sanctions, it's become a direct threat to the government. Videos like this are an example.
Our health system has collapsed. Our patients need help. We need help. We don't want our patients to die.
Even though Cuba has managed to produce at least 2 successful vaccines against COVID-19, on Tuesday, a group of Cuban doctors used the internet to denounce the health crisis that exists in the country. From now on, the spread of videos like this one could be considered an attack against Fidel Castro's revolution.
Once again, Cuba is seeking absolute control of a monopoly on internet access and telecommunications, and is also formalizing digital repression. It is seeking to limit the space where people can access information freely.
Cuba is in the middle of a massive economic crisis, and discontent is on the rise. While the government rushes to carry out reforms, it is also desperately trying to control dissent. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera.
The COVID-19 pandemic and the accompanying prevention control measures has kept partygoers at home and event promoters on the brink in St. Lucia. More than a year of COVID-19 related disruptions has upended St. Lucia's entertainment industry, resulting in unprecedented cancellations to marquee festivals like Carnival and the annual Jazz and Arts Festival. NBC Prime News reports.
Pre-pandemic, St. Lucia's entertainment industry raked in a whopping $178 million in 2019. The government's COVID control measures, however, inadvertently outlawed an entire entertainment sector, depriving promoters of revenue and inflicting St. Lucia's restless partygoers with long bouts of cabin fever. Now, lining up to purchase stage show tickets and even enjoying a curfew-free night out on the town with friends because of the COVID-19 pandemic poses a public health hazard, according to St. Lucia's Health Ministry. The players behind one of the island's trendiest carnival bands and nightlife hubs were among the many casualties in the entertainment sector pushed to the brink because of the pandemic.
It has definitely been challenging. Our businesses, even with entertainment, carnival, events, everything is basically based on socialization. And we're still managing, still trying to figure out and come up with new ways of everything. Try to keep in our staff as much as possible. We're open now and seeing how best we can go through, but it has been extremely challenging.
The Health Ministry's infection prevention policies resulted in protracted bans on mass crowd gatherings and events. Bars and other entertainment venues were forced to close up shop. Creatives, like musicians and artists, DJs and dancers, lost money. Other creative industry stakeholders in the last year lost their primary sources of income. Former independent Senator Adrian Auger, during the budget debate in April, lamented government's lack of financial support to St. Lucia's creatives and entertainment sector.
A matching grant scheme for artists, producers, and creatives has been proposed by the sector in direct conversation with the government. It has been on the books, proposed on the table, on the desk, whatever you want to call it, since late last year. Nothing has happened. I think the total outlay from the government was $200,000. Nothing could be found. But we are proposing to spend $3 million on Carnival and other festivals. Surely within that budget we could find a small envelope for a matching grant program, which the sector has asked for and endorsed. The events company heard the plea. They put the matter forward. As far as I'm aware, nothing has happened. $200,000 matching grants would provide $400,000 of input into a sector that has been languishing for over a year with virtually nothing happening because it is illegal to gather more than so many numbers at a time.
COVID-19 effectively cancelled St. Lucia's events calendar, including marquee festivals like Carnival. But could the government-proposed events card, available only to the fully vaccinated, pave the way for a return to sold-out shows and nightlife normalcy?
This is 2 years now we haven't had a carnival, and we know carnival is a major money-making venture for carnival bands. Go back to last year, Carnival cancelled, what was your first reaction?
What? That was definitely a blow. Definitely a blow. I mean, even with our revelers, even with us immediately, our entire team, it was like, what? No carnival for the first year. Far less when it came to the second year. We're hoping that things will pick up and things are changing soon.
I'm happy
changing. Go on.
Happy you went with the change. Now, maybe you might not be aware just yet, but there are discussions advancing to sort of introduce, and we've had it maybe in the last couple of weeks and months. They're looking to introduce a vaccine or events card, where only fully vaccinated people will be eligible to apply for that card. That'll give them access to approved, events and whatnot. So what I'm asking is now the world is shifting to the vaccine-only kind of events and activities. Do you believe maybe this new policy, vaccinated-only events card, will perhaps help maybe bring some normalcy back to the nightlife and entertainment business?
Well, I mean, it begins with us trying to curb the level of infections here, and already that's what we're doing with the protocol. So it starts with here. So let's start lowering the infection rate, and hopefully everybody can do their part, including us. And then the vaccination card, it seems to be the way forward around the world. And here is not the exemption, the exception, sorry. And that's what we see, the way forward.
Job losses and attrition in the orange economy is not lost on Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the newly minted Creative Industries Minister. He says the Labour Party administration is mulling policy that could provide entertainment sector stakeholders a needed financial lifeline.
I think we're in a situation now, since coming to government, of just establishing the financial position of this country. I mean, a lot happened in the 2 weeks before elections, a lot. And I think the Prime Minister at the right time will inform the nation. So we're really at the point of just trying to put together resources for us to make some major announcements in that regard. But we believe they should be assisted. We believe that, and we will be making arrangements for assistance to them. But we must also understand, if there is a lot of spread taking place from shows and boat rides and events and nightclubs, and we have to shut them down, we will shut them down. But commensurate with shutting them down is the support we give them, because we need to ensure that we do not allow the situation to get out of control.
For now, the latest suite of COVID-19 protocols will again limit the numbers at local bars and hangouts, forcing earlier closing times and depressing sales. But creatives like Verve owners say they're developing protocol-friendly ways for their patrons to enjoy happy hour in a pandemic era.
Everybody's talking about the new normal and keeping 6 feet away. We've been wrecking our brains. I've been 6 feet away, 6 feet apart. We've explored some options. Does it make sense? Options. I mean, we are social beings by nature. I mean, even when we have a little bit of relaxation, people still want to keep within their groups. Maybe not go out as much, but they still want to keep, they have a group of 4 or 5 friends. They want to come, have a table, have a few drinks. I mean, we're seeing how it goes.
Rihani Isidore, NBC Prime.
The COVID-19 Delta variant is forcing a new wave of restrictions and lockdowns across the Asia-Pacific. Al Jazeera's Scott Heidler reports from Bangkok, Thailand.
Australia's biggest city, Sydney, seeing a surge of new COVID-19 infections, will now be in lockdown until the end of September. People in the worst-hit suburbs will face a nighttime curfew. The city's 5 million residents are now required to wear face masks outside. The wider state of New South Wales has had 3 consecutive days of more than 600 new cases.
We've thrown everything at this, and now it's time to bunker down, and I can't stress that enough. It is time for all of us to bunker down, take this as seriously as we can, although so many of us have, the vast majority have.
This third wave in Australia, fed by the Delta virus, made its way to New Zealand this week. The nation was living free of COVID-19 for 6 months until Tuesday, when a case was discovered linked to the outbreak in Australia. A snap national lockdown was extended until midnight next Tuesday after more cases were detected in several cities. 11 new cases were recorded on Friday.
We just don't quite know the full scale of this Delta outbreak. All in all, that tells us we need to continue to be cautious and that we need more time before we have the complete picture we need to change our settings.
With one of the worst COVID-19 outbreaks in Asia on Friday, Thailand marked 1 million cases since the start of the pandemic. Until April, the nation was able to minimize the spread of the virus. 97% of all COVID-19 cases have occurred in the last 5 months. Vietnam has also successfully contained the virus until late April. But a surge of infections in recent weeks has forced officials to put the largest city, Ho Chi Minh, into lockdown from Monday. As Tokyo prepares for the start of the Paralympics next week, concern grows as the city is also seeing a surge of new COVID-19 infections that's overstretched hospitals. Organizers admit that the Games will be held under difficult circumstances. They'll be using the same COVID-19 playbook implemented during the Olympic Games, focusing on frequent testing and limited movement. With the high vaccination rate and few new infections, Singapore has started to relax its COVID-19 restrictions. This allowing some to head out and enjoy a break.
For us, we definitely feel safe. You know, we're all wearing our masks except when we're eating the treats, and the vaccination rate is so high here. Everyone here is vaccinated, so we felt like it was a no-risk situation, so we're happy to be here.
An indulgence many others in the region hope they soon will also be able to enjoy. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
In sports, Jamaica's Tina Clayton wins gold at the Under-20 World Championships in Kenya. More from TVJ News.
And welcome back. Let's head to Nairobi, Kenya, where Tina Clayton became the 4th Jamaican to win the women's 100-meter title at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships when she recorded a personal best, 11.09 seconds, to win the 100 meters on Thursday. More in this report.
The 100-meter final was billed as a big clash between Olympic 200-meter finalist Beatrice Maselingi of Namibia and Jamaica's NACAC under-18 champion Tina Clayton after both dominated their respective semi-finals.
Set. Maselingi in 4 gets a good start, but so does Tina Clayton. Tina Clayton has a lead in the first 50, and Tina Clayton is powering away. Tina Clayton's going to retain the junior women's 100-meter title for Jamaica, 11:11.
With that personal best of 11.09 seconds, the 17-year-old Clayton joined Nicole Mitchell, Veronica Campbell-Brown, and Brianna Williams as the only Jamaicans to win the women's 100-meter title at the World Under-20 Championships. Maselingi finished a distant second in 11.39, while Melissa Gutschmidt of Switzerland took bronze with 11.51. Another Jamaican in Karika Hill ended 7th in 11.67. Kobe Lawrence was not able to add to Jamaica's medal tally on day 2 as he finished 8th in the men's shot put final with a best throw of 18.32 meters. Over in the women's triple jump preliminaries, Akila Smith advanced to Friday's final as she cut the sand at 12.99 meters. Despite not getting the automatic qualifying mark of 13.20 meters needed, Smith had the 7th best jump. Earlier, Garielle White was the first Jamaican in action on day 2, and she advanced to the final of the women's 400-meter hurdles after winning Heat 2 in 58.65. Muzia Bridgen will also be in Sunday's final as she finished 2nd in Heat 3 in 58.88. In the men's equivalent, Rashawn Clark produced a personal best of 50.93 to win Heat 1.
Ezekiel Nathaniel clattered that. He's got one more hurdle to go. Let's hope he makes it. Roshan Clark, though, he has judged this right, negotiating that last hurdle very smoothly.
Devontae Archer was also an easy winner of Heat 4 in 52.17. Class 1 800-meter champion Siobhan Hall is through to the semi-finals of the 2-lap event after finishing 3rd in Heat 2 in 1 minute 49.47. Day 2 highlights of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships can be seen this evening at 9 o'clock on TVJ.
All right, and thanks for staying with us. Some movement at Sabina Park now, where the West Indies will look to end a wait of 2 decades for a Test series win over Pakistan when they meet in the second of 2 games starting on Friday. The Caribbean side hold a 1-0 lead in the series after taking the first match by a wicket on Sunday.
West Indies cannot lose.
The last time the West Indies won a test series against Pakistan was back in 2000. Then the teams were engaged in 3 games, and the first 2 ended in drawn results. Coincidentally, the game that gave the Windies the series was a 1-wicket win. But all that is now in the past, and the current Windies squad has the opportunity to write their own history. For that, though, the Caribbean side must avoid defeat in the second test, and Captain Craig Brathwaite knows keeping the team focused is important to achieving that.
The key is to stay calm and be disciplined. As a bowling group, we were fantastic. We just come back and do that again, obviously. As a batting group, you know, we know partnerships are key. And I think once we focus on the small targets, then the result will take care of itself. But I just think, as you said, just staying calm, you know, is a main word, and then discipline, you know, from both the bowling group and as batsmen. You know, I think patience is key on obviously on a pitch like the first test. I think once you do those small things, the result will take care of itself.
The microscope will be on the batting lineup of both teams.
I think obviously a lot will do on the batting and scoring runs. Obviously the pitch, you know, the pitch had in something throughout the game. I just think who shows the most patience, you know, as a batting group, you know, that will be crucial in this game, I believe.
And the Caribbean side could go with 4 fast bowlers on Friday, with pitch conditions expected to be similar to that of the first test.
We saw Spain, you know, obviously Spain didn't really get any wickets, if any at all. But we haven't made a decision as yet. But maybe we never know. But I mean, whatever team we put out there, you know, I know we'll do the job.
Friday's game is expected to bowl off at 10 a.m. Jamaica time. Renata Brown for TVJ Sports.
This has been the SK Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find more news on our website at www.sknewsline.com, or you can visit our Facebook page. From all of us here at SK Newsline and Channel 95, I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.